have to sit. Well, I can probably scoot over. You're gonna be in the back like that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, through an interesting turn of events, we did not get to film any other updates because baby boy decided that he needed to come out immediately. Things started to go south and they said we need to get him out. We had an emergency C-section. From the minute they told us that to them pulling him out, it had to have been like what, 3 minutes?
Probably 5.
5 minutes.
So basically the anesthesiologist came in to give Kayla her epidural and that went down fine, except for, I guess Kayla would say, the pain. But then right after that, Kayla's blood pressure dropped significantly, which then the nurse had to kind of care for Kayla. Kayla said she was gonna pass out. She started feeling really woozy, so she had to lay down. And as Kayla's starting to feel better, the nurse is continuing to monitor the screen, and she's realizing the baby's heartbeat was dropping. So she tells us that, and then about 10 seconds later, she gets on her walkie, or her special phone, right?
Her special phone.
Whatever it's not like she just got on the intercom that we had. And she said, can I have the anesthesiologist and the doctor come in? They came in, took one more look, and then all of a sudden, I don't even know who they called to.
It was like everybody.
10 people came busting in, but it wasn't just 10 people. It was like they were all doctors, pretty much. It wasn't...
There were a couple nurses in there, but it was a lot of like the head honcho important people.
It wasn't just nurse after nurse coming in. It was doctor after doctor after doctor coming in. And right when I thought the main doctor came in, some other doctor came in with a bang and basically took over the whole show. So I don't know who she was, but she was basically the mob boss of the doctors up there.
I just remember her, she's trying to talk to me and tell me what's about to go down. And the nurses are like talking to her and she kept looking at them and giving them dirty looks like, shut up, I'm trying to tell her something.
And so anyway, I'm at this point, obviously it gets real, and I'm sitting in the corner, just blocked off essentially from everything that's going on, and I kind of did it on purpose to make sure I was out of the way. But they're flipping Kayla over in all sorts of different ways very quickly, doing all sorts of craziness. I have about two or three different people talking to me, and then within 25 seconds the room was empty. Like, they grabbed the bed and rushed her out. They came to me and said they gave her a shot, the baby's heartbeat normalized a little bit, and so they just need to go check things, to see if they're gonna have to pull the baby out. One of the doctors pretty much said, I think she's gonna be fine. I think they're gonna come back in here. They left,
and we did not come back in here.
Basically, I was left. I called Kayla's mom and explained to her what was going on, sent a couple texts. They sent the birth certificate paperwork into me to try to distract me, and then all of a sudden another nurse came rushing into the door to get me suited up. So basically they got to the OR and they sent that nurse to go and get me. So as soon as they got into the OR, they started getting ready to open Kayla up. And then as I'm walking down the hall, we're rushing. I break the scrub, the temporary scrubs they gave me. I broke like the foot thing. I broke the zipper on the chest thing.
They cut me open. Meanwhile, Chase is not in the room. I have not seen Chase. I don't know where he is. They just hadn't gotten him over to me yet. Then they cut me open. They're trying to pull Bennett out of me, and I swear my entire body was like shaking back and forth because he had like wedged himself in. That's when, after they pulled him out, they were like, baby's out, baby's out.
And then when we make the turn, a nurse comes busting out saying, baby's out. And that is right as we open the doors and see a doctor grab Bennett, whip over her shoulder to a nurse. The nurse just a clean transfer. It was rip out of Kayla, turn, toss, nurse grabs it, turns like an option, and spins out the door. It was, I had to stop in all the freak outness and go, whoa, what? And so then I tell Kayla I'm there.
That's when I felt Chase's hand on my forehead. He's like, I'm here, but I'm gonna go with the baby.
And then I rush out of the door to follow the baby.
And I was like, okay, go.
That's not what you said. You were...
I don't even remember. I was just trying not to cry because I was like, that's only gonna make it worse if I cry.
You said, is he okay? But then in the room with the baby, I want to call it staging area, but
staging.
Where they go.
Ow.
Where like so in this room or in the labor rooms, they have basically like the
baby warmer machine.
Yeah, the warmer that has a scale, everything on it that they prep on. Well, they don't have one in the surgical room or the OR, so they had to take him to a room that had one. So that's what they were doing with him. But when I walked in there was 2, 4, 6, 7 people just with the baby, and one of them was a doctor that started talking to me, but the only thing that they were telling me was just how happy I should be that I'm hearing him cry. And then the doctor said, just remember this, you know, in the next coming days and weeks when he's up at 2:30 in the morning, 3 in the morning screaming. These are the days that you got to remember, because that cry right now is probably the best news that we could have. That was pretty shocking. And then that's when I got to hold his hand and, you know, cut the umbilical cord, do all that stuff, which I didn't drop the scissors this time like I did with Kennedy, but I was definitely shaken. And then we were able to bring him back in where I could hold him next to Kayla and show her him. And then, yeah, we ultimately found out that the umbilical cord was wrapped around his neck, wrapped around his whole body, but wrapped around his neck too. And then Kayla was already 5 centimeters dilated when they were checking her, so he was already making his way down. So it wasn't like they were giving her a C-section where they could just grab him, you know, and gently place him out. So that's why it was so hard to get him out. And then
what the doctor told me was that I started to progress too fast, and because the umbilical cord was so tightly wrapped around his neck and his body, it was causing him distress.
We were lucky, thankfully,
and so thankful that all the doctors and nurses were able to just take over, and they knew exactly what they had to do, and it wasn't even a question. It was, let's get her in there, let's get him out, make sure baby's healthy. And for me, that is the number one goal all the time. Obviously, I didn't want to have a C-section, but I would have a C-section 10 times over to make sure that he's okay.
And we were told by a couple different nurses that we weren't only lucky to obviously have him, period, but we were lucky like he didn't have to go in the NICU or anything, which is what I thought was going to happen. I actually thought that that's where they were taking him right when they whipped him out. We're lucky on 2 accounts is what we're being told. And one thing that we were told when we got out there, it got to the point where everybody knew, so the people here on the 10th floor, they were watching the surgery on a monitor. So everybody, no, I shouldn't say everybody, but it was
all of our nurses came in and asked us about it,
yeah,
because it was like, I guess it was just like crazy.
Well, and they just all care. That's how much people here, you know, care about these.
But he's here, and we are happy, and we are both healthy and on the road to recovery. He's 100% fine. Everything checks out good for him. Obviously, I'm very sore, but nothing but thankful for the nurses and the doctors at UCSD, because I don't know if Bennett and I would be here today if we didn't have them caring for us.
I don't get how they look at a monitor and then they can stick everything all up inside you and know what they're doing, and then know that they have to cut you open to get him out, and then know where to cut, and then know what they can touch and what can't they touch, then know what they're doing when they're yanking him, then know.
Just all crazy. The doctor kept peeking her head up over the sheet. He's okay. You're fine, everything's great, it couldn't have gone better. Like, she kept trying to reassure me, and I was like, this woman is slicing me open.
Meanwhile, she was down there just going, oh shit, oh my gosh, what am I doing?
This woman is slicing me open and pulling out my child, and she's still trying to reassure me and tell me everything's gonna be okay. If that doesn't tell you, like, the kind of people that doctors here are, then I don't know what does. That's pretty much the story. Sorry we don't have any footage. I will do another video kind of talking about the entire process of like getting here, all of it. But for now, this is the update that we have for you. And we're hopefully going home today to Kennedy because we've been here for 4 days now. We're gonna go home and see Kennedy today. We're really excited about that. We were celebratory dinner here because Bennett was born. Sparkling cider.
Faked us out, thought that was booze. Got really excited.
We have...
Oh, that's a chicken Caesar.
That's the chicken Caesar salad.
Interesting.
It's not cut it up.
Not rabbit food, I guess. Steak with carrots.
Yum. Look at that. That looks good, huh? My salmon. Ooh.
Ooh, on a wood plank.
Yum. Oh, another
chicken Caesar salad.
Caesar salad.
That's not cheese. Oh, that's cheese. I thought that was a thin slice of chicken. Oops.
And then dessert. What'd you get for dessert? Creme brulee.
Creme brulee.
And I got brownie and ice cream.
That looks good.
Yeah, I'm excited. Let's dig in. I wish we had some like chairs though.
Yeah, chairs would be cool. But no.
Here's baby brother sleeping away. Here's my